Welcome to Gamblin and Ramblin, a weekly show where we react, rant about the entire weekend that was sports betting. But now it's basically 2 weeks because we took a week off last week. Belichick says no days off. If his team sucks now, then I can take a couple days off. I'm Tim Kalinowski, joined by another guy whose team sucks, Charlie DiSturco. You can follow us both on the Action app, Action YouTube channel, Action Network HQ on TikTok and Twitter, and our personals as well. Charlie, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. How we doing?
Hey, we're surviving out here. I'm down in Florida right now for the week. I come back tomorrow, thank goodness, because the legal betting is absolutely murdering me. You mentioned my team sucks. I had to deal with Zach Wilson to begin my Christmas weekend of what was the worst NFL week of all time.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. The NFL, it's tough to. It's not quite regular season NBA, but it is tough to watch at times.
It's heading toward the way of not, of where I expected a little time of like, okay, my family's here for Christmas, and lots going on. You usually get sick of them for a little bit. You're like, all right. Instead of NBA sucks, so I'm not watching that. Yep. NFL's on, perfect. Put on the screen, and I can't even be like calm watching the NFL because it's so bad, and I can't avoid my family because the product is so bad. So it was just a brutal week of like having to like either choose between stapling my eyelids open and watching the NFL or like discussing my personal life with my family.
Yeah, definitely two things that are not too interesting. I'd lean towards NFL there. Like it's funny. I had to we only drive like 15 minutes away, not even, and so I just streamed the Dolphins-Packers game during that drive, and so I'm behind, and I'm just getting like messages in my group chat, just like, "How was that holding? Did you see that?" And I'm like, "Here we go again." Like, the NFL is NFLing, and I'm like, "Great." And then I show up to my aunt's house. Did you see that call? It's rigged. I'm like, oh God, will you?
Dude, I heard the word rigged got thrown around my like Christmas gathering like at least 5 times. Like it was, I mean, the refs are objectively horrible, but like it was so funny just to like when you get there and usually your crazy uncle's like throwing out random spewing sentences, and like, oh, the NFL is rigged, the NBA is rigged, like blah blah blah, this and that, and it was a mess. And I mean, rightfully so. The games were outside of the Packers game. I don't know if there was a game that I watched that entire weekend. Maybe Dallas, Philly, that was
most people
able to watch.
Most people, Charlie, they say, I have to worry about talking politics at my family holidays. It's like mine is I have to convince my cousins and uncles that the NFL is not actually rigged.
Yeah, and then or have to, for me, I have to like explain like what I'm betting and what sides I'm on, and like what that means. Like when I'm on the Dallas -4 and I go crazy when Miles Sanders fumbles the ball and the Cowboys have it inside the red zone, I'm like going nuts. Like, why are you going nuts? You're already up, and I'm like, no, I need like another field goal. They better not kneel the ball or go for this 4th down here. I need them to kick the field goal and take the points.
Yeah, same thing. My uncle, he's like, "Oh, what do you want?" I'm like, Green Bay +4. And it was when Miami, or it was like tied or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you're cooked," or whatever. I'm like, I go, they have to keep it within 4 or win. He's like, "Oh," and then he's like, you cashed already. I'm like, that's another, God, stop it.
I know. No one understands, and they're just like jinxing you too. And you're sitting there like I've been here before. People say this, and then things go wrong, and then my anger is not only deflected at the Packers, but I'm deflected at you now if things go wrong. Thankfully, we cashed the Packers. I was on them too.
He goes, "Oh, you're laughing." I go, "It's your first weekend watching the NFL? Like, this is your first time watching? First day, pal?"
Yeah. Dude, it was absurd. At least, like, overall, betting weekend was fine. The product itself was horrible. And I think that, like, the biggest thing and we talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? You mentioned the week off that we took. Kyler Murray with his refunded props. That was the thing that I think I came away the day after Boxing Day. I wake up and like return Booker or refund Booker's trending on Twitter. That was probably the most aggravated I've been, just like having to open up Twitter and realize, like, see all these people complaining because Devin Booker, who has a groin injury, comes back, returns to play for Christmas and re-aggravates it and leaves early, and everyone's whining for a refund on their bets, on their prop bets. And I'm going nuts here because I don't understand the FanDuel, and we talked about this, and they opened up the opportunity for now people to complain and basically force their hand and pressure them into giving refunds on any injury and every injury that happens, mostly on island days or holidays, etc. But they're opening the door to where I think like spreads are going to be guaranteed refund, and I mean, it's going to be absurd. I don't know where the list where it ends here.
Yep. That's what it's, and Hutton can do the thing. Our producer Hutton, he can just go rewind, because we've been on this thing for weeks. So a bunch of books did refunds for Kyler Murray props last night. They go as far as partly refunding Murray props that were the last leg of a parlay too. Like they go pretty crazy with it. I think I saw like FanDuel did it. I saw Barstool did it. I think MGM might have done it, but what are your thoughts on that? Do you like seeing that? Because like then you're kind of looking for the handout when because they don't do it for every single one.
Yeah, they didn't do it for T. Higgins when T. Higgins went down with an injury right off the rip on Sunday. I don't complain about it. I enter the game knowing that there's an injury risk, and that's what you get for betting on player props. So like if the player goes down with an injury, like dang, it stinks. But like you shouldn't be asking for a handout every time, especially early on. I think that that's one of those things that just like is something that people are going to take for granted.
We just talked about this, and it's what do lawmakers say? They go, well, if we set this precedent, then what happens next? Then what are people going to be asking for? That is what we're at right now. What are people going to ask for next? Like I really could care. Like, to me, I'm just like, oh, I've never had a refund. I've never been on something that get refunded. So maybe it's because I've never had that satisfaction of the refund. But I see these people, I'm like, what are you really whining because of that? Are you really? Come on. Like you said, he had already been injured.
Yeah, he had the groin injury. He comes back. The Suns also cover the spread. Like, imagine if they don't cover the spread. Imagine what the cry, the hysteria coming from the public would have been. They would have been, oh, give me Suns +4. Oh, give me Devin Booker props 2. Like, where does it end? Because, like, oh, the total, it went under. But if Devin Booker played, he would have scored 20 more points than the backup. So I want my money back. Like, it doesn't make sense. And this is the thing. When you bet on player props, and I said this 2 weeks ago, you're entering with the possibility of a player getting hurt, or he fumbles and he gets benched. It happens all the time in sports. Players get benched, players get injured, and you can't be begging for money every time. And listen, I don't blame the people for, crying and causing this hysteria, because FanDuel and DraftKings are opening themselves up to it by doing it every single time. Like I had Christian Watson's over. He had 49 yards in the first half, got hurt, didn't play the entire second half. I needed 2 more yards from him. I didn't hit that bet. You don't see me like adding FanDuel. Instead, I ended up putting a tweet up about how like the Buffalo Wild Wings commercial where the guy's like rigging the sprinklers. Like I was like, oh yeah, there you go. Like the NFL's like, nope, Watson's done for the day, like, etc. You make a joke out of it. You don't complain and at FanDuel, send an email to FanDuel. Like where does it end? Like it doesn't. It's going to go on, and it's going to get worse and worse to where this expectation they're setting is so much higher, where it's going to be every little thing on a standalone game.
How about if I had another player on the Suns under total points because I expected Booker to get a majority of the touches? Like it goes beyond that, which that's like my frustration is it's not just Booker that his props that are affected by this. So that's why it's like, why do one if you're not going to basically do the entire game script is affected? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, exactly. Like the entire game is changed by this, right? I understand you doing it every now and then. Like, you do a little bit of good service, like a standalone island game. Kyler Murray tears his ACL, you refund those.
Yeah, right.
Or I think he tears his ACL. You refund the bets, and it's like, okay, here's a little bit of like good karma, good juju. You're going to lose the money anyway on it back. But it can't be a consistent thing. I think that there's been a refund at least once or twice a week for the past month. Yeah. There's Kyler Murray, Rondell Moore, Devin Booker, Devonta Smith was like 2 months ago, but his lateral play. I understand doing it in certain situations. Devonta Smith one, I think should have been refunded because it's a lateral play. The rules are kind of shady. Devonta had over that yards before he
See, those are the ones that I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it doesn't make sense where you're like, oh, Devin Booker had a groin injury. Devin Booker returns from groin injury. Devin Booker re-aggravates scoring injury, he's done for the day. You made that fault. You are at fault for betting on Devin Booker on his over because what are you going to do next? Like, oh, well, because he got injured, we're going to take away the money from the people that bet his under because they got lucky on this win. But if you're on the other side, you're not complaining, you're rejoicing.
I couldn't agree more with you. And, this kind of goes with, we made some betting resolutions for the new year. And one of the things I considered writing was to be less angry about things. And I know with you and I, that's just not possible. So I didn't write that down, but I really was like, oh, be less angry. And then I was like, that's like saying, don't eat pizza. I'm going to continue to be angry. So I guess I'll let you lead us off here with our betting resolutions for 2023. Start us off.
Yes. So before I give my first one, I just want to say the angry situation, like if you're not living and dying by bets and getting angry at games, then you're not really like, what's the fun in doing it? Like, you're supposed to live and die by the bets. You're supposed to be so into it. Like, I understand, like, you want to level head it altogether, which goes in play with my resolution. But, I have people messaging me like upset about my betting picks. And I'm like, bro, I'm upset. I'm just as upset as you are. Like, I'm upset that Seton Hall's offense couldn't put up like 65 points or cover, whatever. Anyway,
be angry. Just stop begging for refunds. That's the deal.
Exactly. Right? But my first resolution, I'm going to go with stop doing as many fun parlays and first touchdown scorers. I do this just about for the most part, most island games, I'll throw like a $5 or $10 first touchdown scorer, have something to root for early. Every Sunday or every Christmas or every Thanksgiving, I always have like a touchdown parlay. Like, I always want to have like props in a parlay or try to be one of those guys that goes on the Action Network Twitter where it's like, oh, I had a 10 for $100,000 parlay. I hit one last year, 10 for 8,000 on the touchdown parlay. And I'm going to live and keep saying about that bet. And I'm going to keep circling back about it every single time and be like, well, I have money saved in the bank, but I need to stop doing it consistently or like to be doing like 3 in a week. Like, I got to take it easy a little bit. So that's my first resolution.
Well, mine goes directly against that. I need to do more of those. I need to do more fun parlays and first CDs. And I will say, first off, it's hard being in Massachusetts. I can like a lot of those are only offered. Like, I have to be in a good, New York or whatever to really be betting. And those are where those are offered. And so when I sit here, I'm like, I actually, funny enough, I had, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to put things in the app that like my first touchdown parlays, my fun things, because I really don't endorse it. I don't want to bet parlays. I don't want to be known as somebody that bets parlays. I'm embarrassed. I only do it. It's like in secret. I'm like hiding it. But on Christmas Day, I hit a first touchdown parlay, 3-legger. It was, 10 to win like 2 something. And the night before, or on Thursday night, I hit Trevor Lawrence first touchdown, and none of which I put in the app because I don't want people to tell my first touchdown things like, oh, you're an idiot. So I need to be better at that. It's hard to say working here and be like, oh, I made bets I didn't put in the app, but I need to do it because I want to show off that I actually nailed it.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying, and I never log those types of plays. I also think that I have especially with having that expert check mark for my name, it's hard to be like, oh, well, I'm betting on these stupid things that are 0.05 units. I just usually don't log it. I do understand the whole victory lap. I maybe post on Twitter about it. That's what I usually do. I'll throw it around on Twitter and just victory lap there. Listen, I endorse you doing this because we talked about this a month ago or 3 weeks ago, and you were like, I don't do this. I hate this. I'm the best line at all times and parlays and blah, blah, blah. So I like you going out of your comfort zone. We're getting out of the box here. You're actually, putting yourself out there. It's fun. You get something to root for. It's a side little thing. And when it hits, it's exhilarating and better than hitting a straight bet.
And I was going back and forth with one of my buddies. I was like, dude, I actually did a first touchdown parlay, and he's just kept responding. He's just like, yo, tell me more about your parlay, man. Yeah, I'm really interested in your parlay that's gonna lose on the last leg. I just texted him, it hit, and he was like, do you think I care?
It's also so funny that you literally have bet how many first touchdown parlays and then hit like right away. Like you bet this one for like the first time in a long time and you nail it. Like in a week, you're having the good luck. I mean, I guess it's beginner's luck. Don't get used to it because it's only going downhill from here. I'll say that. But my second betting resolution, I will say this is something that I've gotten a lot better with over the last few months, especially since, taking that next step toward becoming an expert at action. Don't chase. I think that chasing is the hardest thing that gamblers have to deal with. And I've been better with it. But it's always hard to when you see, your account going down or you're in such a cold streak. And I dealt with this when about a month and a half ago, where I was losing literally every other bet I took, if not every single bet. It was a brutal cold spree. And I had to just keep a level head and not get too ahead of myself and keep firing off bets, because that's how you lose, right? You win betting the NFL, college football by betting a small amount of games of the entire slate. It is extremely difficult to become profitable on an entire slate, betting every single side. So I'm getting better at being not chasing my bets, not waiting until Sunday night and throwing like a Hail Mary same game parlay or throwing 5 units on a side on Sunday Night Football. You're going to have to expect winning weeks. You're going to have to expect losing weeks. As long as you keep a level head and you bet and stick to the way you have been doing things, it'll all end up working out great. That is my thing. I used to have a problem with chasing. I don't anymore. / I'm working on it.
Well, that's so the way I view chasing is I've like cut chasing out. I don't do it anymore. Like I rarely, I really don't. And I think if I look at the same way I look at video games, I like playing video games with my friends, but I'm terrible. And I hate it. I literally dread it. I'm so bad. I couldn't be a worse video game player. And it's bad for my health because I literally be up at 2:30 in the morning. I hate you. Go to bed. You suck. Why are we friends? And that to me is like chasing. I've bought Xboxes and then resold them like 3 different times because I'm like, I needed to get it out of my life. So I don't game anymore and I don't chase. That's like the two. I think those 2 things, it's like, it's not good for you to do it. And you need to be saying, nope, cut it out.
It's already like a depressing feeling to like see yourself losing a lot. And then to like then be like, all right, all in on this team. And then it doesn't work out. And most of the time it doesn't work out.
No,
like you're just making a bad decision to then an uneducated one for the most part too, to just throw as much as you can to try and win it all back. And also the game is not enjoyable. I can enjoy a game with a unit on a side or 2 units, but when it's like 5, 6 units and you're just like, I need this, I need the win, I need it so bad. The entire game is just literally so dreadful. It is so painful. I agree with the whole video game aspect. The way I'm up at like 3 a.m. screaming and like, thank goodness, like when I lived with my parents, like they text me at like 3 a.m. be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, go to bed. Like, why are you screaming at like 10-year-old kids on the Xbox like about Call of Duty? I'm like, I need to get it out of my system. But yes, I've gotten better at that. I've gotten better at chasing. So we need to just completely wipe it. Hopefully we do as this year.
My mom would go, you talk to your friends that way? Those are your she's like, you talking to strangers that way? I'm like, no, I'm like, my friends. She's like, you talk to your friends that way? I'm like, which one do you want it to be?
Which one is less worse, please? And then I'll go with that one.
Yeah, seriously, I'll go with that one. My next one is be less superstitious / stop falling in love with teams. So for instance, like when I'm on a hot streak, I'm so superstitious, man. Sit in the same spot on the couch. I'll wear the same thing. I put the same socks on. Like so superstitious. And then it drives me freaking crazy. And if I'm like, wait, did I open that door with my left hand or my right hand? Like all because Western Kentucky covered the night before. So I need to stop that. And at the same time, these, for instance, like college hoops, I bet that recreationally, like, I'm just throwing a couple things down, having some fun. And I look for those teams that I want to fall in love with and like have a deep run and being like, oh, I rode them the whole time. It's like almost like the Bailey Zappi effect, like ruined that like recreational feeling for me, because it's like, I just want another Bailey Zappi so bad. And I want to be in on the beginning of it. Like I was like halfway in on the Bailey Zappi thing. Like I want to be in from the beginning on a team, like like Loyola Chicago, like someone random. I'd be like, oh yeah, I've been on them since the start.
Yeah. I'm not as big of a superstitious gambler as you are. Like I will not, I'll maybe sit in the same spot or something like that. And like, I usually have my spot on the couch that will bet with, but I never am that too deep. And I do agree with the falling in love with teams. I, for some reason, will like love a team so much and just continually bet them and be like, but like they've won me so much in the past, and like I don't know, like I obviously am like alone on this side here, probably because it's not the sharp side. But I fall in love with guys, players, teams. It doesn't matter. I just want to continue to bet them. I mean, I know for you, I don't know if you've been betting on the Commanders, but your boy Taylor Heineke,
I know.
benched. Yeah, you're falling in love with the player, and you got to see him. It really just came crashing down.
That's what happens too.
Depressing.
That's what happens too. Yeah, you just get egg on your face. Like that hurts. You know, like it's just like, yeah, I'm like, they already hit their over. I think they already hit their over win total. I believe it was like 6.5. I believe, could be wrong, but I think I'm okay with that. Unless the tie comes back to bite me.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Taylor Heineke got you to the finish line, but it always is like guys that you have every season, like Bailey Zappi for Western Kentucky last year was pretty big Action Network, like group play type.
Yeah,
deal.
Action Heisman.
Yeah, exactly, and you want to be in it from the start. It's almost like for me betting baseball, like Sandy Alcantara was our Bailey Zappi. Like I bet them, bet Sandy. Oh, you would get him at plus money because the Marlins stunk every time, and for the most part, they do pretty well. Or like you,
we had him. Everyone had him Cy Young in the entire company.
Exactly, you got him like 20 to 1 odds to win the Cy Young, and it's great to see it all come through. But it's also
it feels so good.
Yeah, but it also like, you know, you get in over your head and you end up having like 10 Sandy Alcantaras. You only talk about one of the 10 Sandy Alcantaras that actually came to fruition. The rest
Exactly.
Of them, we don't talk about it, and we throw that in the back of the mind.
Exactly. All right, give us your third.
Yeah, my third resolution is, and it goes hand in hand with, I think we're both agreeing with this. I'm done betting the NBA, most likely at all. But if I do bet it, in the playoffs. And this goes back to like this past week, right? I think personally the NBA is the worst product in all of sports, right? It is the hardest thing to watch. I literally have to staple my eyelids open or like tape them because it is just, it is a 3-point contest. No one plays defense. It's not entertaining at all. There's like a few games here and there where like you'll see Luka Doncic's 60-point, 20 rebound, triple double. Kind of cool to watch. But then again, I didn't even watch it. Like I woke up to Twitter this morning to see that it happened because the NBA is so bad. It is not fun. Betting it is probably the most aggravating thing. I had the Lakers on Christmas Day. Why am I betting the Lakers? I don't know. But they lose by 9. I had them plus 7.5. And the Mavericks had a 51-point third quarter. And I'm sitting there and they're just hitting every 3-ball ever. And it's just so aggravating to watch the NBA because it's just the game is lost. It's lost its magic for me. I don't know if you agree with me.
It's literally don't even get me started. I don't even get me started. I can't. It is the worst thing to watch on television, regular season NBA, on the face of the earth. There is not a thing that is harder to watch. They make it so hard to watch. Look, everyone's like, oh, you're a hockey nut. You just love hockey. You're biased. I like basketball. I like hoops. I do. I like hoops. I like college hoops. I'm looking for, the thing is, I'm a sucker. I give the NBA a chance. I see people talking about it. So all my Twitter feed on a Wednesday night, and I'm like, you know what? Let me throw this on TNT. And I go, what is the obsession? What is the obsession with this? And then, like you said, 51-point third quarter. It's like, because the team during the game, look, everyone's like, oh, they rest the players. They do the, scheduled maintenance day, whatever. During the game itself now, they're deciding if they want to try. During the actual game itself.
I think they even enter the game and they're like, oh, we have the Detroit Pistons. Like the Bucks are like, oh, we got the Pistons coming up. Oh, I'm not even going to try. Like, I'm just going to screw around and shoot threes. And if they fall, they fall. And they're just taking these off balance shots. And you're like, we're like halfway through the game. They're up 20. And they're like, man, I'm done for the day. I'm just going to air mail it in. And you can see them not try. And it's so aggravating. Or like, how about like at the time you're at an NBA game and you're watching, or like if you're watching on TV and you hear like Young Boy on or like Future's on in the background and they're hooping to like March Madness by Future. And I'm like, bro, like this is like the joke of a product. Like there's rap music going on while the game's going on. Half the players are not trying. There's no defense being played except for like a select few of guys. Everyone's firing away from the 3-pointers. It's to the point where like sometimes you'll see like 5 guys on the perimeter and they're just hooping around until like one pass breaks through, or like guys will, Ben Simmons, wide open layup, no, passes it. Like it's like dude, like, what are we
No,
doing
it's
here?
so
Like, this is not entertaining.
No, it's terrible. And again, I'm not just someone who's like, oh, I like hockey. I get it. I can see how someone doesn't want to watch, 15 NHL games a night. But I like college hoops. I love Saturday, the CBS game, the SEC, like Kansas, they bang the place out on a Saturday night. I love it. Live for it. Love it, love it, love it. The NBA with again, like you said, during the game, they're going, are we trying tonight? Are we not trying tonight? And like you said, Luca, isn't that amazing? 6 of this first 8 minutes, they go, one, was the other team playing? Did they try? Was it a night that the other team was trying, or was it a night that they were mailing it in? Because nobody, like, I don't care. Like, someone tell me, someone clarify it. They should say before the game, we are trying tonight. And it's beyond just the stars playing. They've taken it a step further. Like, is this a scheduled loss, or are we playing tonight?
It's also like, when you watch playoff NBA, you're like, oh, like, you can't even make an argument that they don't try or that they do try in the regular season, because when you watch playoff NBA, the product takes a huge step up.
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder
so
why,
different.
because they actually try. And like, I got into it with a guy on Twitter earlier about the NBA and how I said it was the worst product of all. And he was like, oh, that's because you're betting the Lakers. I'm like, no, it's because I'm watching basketball and they're shooting threes. They're not trying. They're airmailing it in. All the guys are pros and they can hit threes, sure. But it's just like, it is so aggravating to watch. And you can't tell me that guys are not trying, because when I watch playoff basketball, I see all these guys putting their effort in every single day in the playoffs and not in the regular season. And it's so aggravating to watch. And like you said, right? I'm a guy college basketball is my second favorite sport. I love basketball. 2000s NBA, the best product ever. Once it got to like 2015 to 2025, like this 10-year gap right here, it's so horrific. I love college basketball. It's my second favorite sport. That's what I cap it for Action Network.
Yep.
I can't get behind the NBA, so I'm not betting them in the regular season, maybe in the playoffs.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. And so I won't even, because I basically gave you 2 in my second New Year's resolution. So let's just hop to the bowl games. Bowl season, great time of year. Tell me about how, are you in a pool, or how are your bowl picks doing?
Actually, so I hate to tell you this, Tim, because I know bowl season is like your bread and butter.
Yeah.
I've like barely watched bowls, haven't even joined a pool. I think it comes with the fact that there's college football's happening, and like all the bowl games are happening right around like the NFL happening on Sundays and Christmas. And that's usually when
it's
I
like
get
the
into
worst
college.
thing could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like NFL's on Saturday and Sunday, so I'm so, divulging into that, and I just haven't really watched that many college football games. I like college. I'm probably gonna like, the next week is when the moneymakers come, like the bigger games. True. I'm not a huge. I bet 2 games. I'm 2-0, so I clean little 100% from the field, but I haven't watched that much college football. I know that you are doing it on a daily basis, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's a like with all everyone says, oh, you don't know who's playing, the injuries, the opt-outs. Like, I just love the idea of having nonsense football on in the middle of the afternoon. And again, it got messed up because the NFL this year, and they've been doing, unfortunately, less and less of it. But like in the day, I mean, it's still, we got a pretty good slate today. But in the day when it's like 11 a.m. and then another at like 2:30 and then another at 3:30, like again, just rocket mortgage this bowl, like it's that. And so maybe it's just the like nostalgia of it. But I mean, last night, which it was Tuesday, and then today, Wednesday, it's a full slate, and that's a blast.
You wanna know what it is? I have not been able to get behind bowl season this year because I don't know if this is true or not, right? You can tell me if I'm completely off based on this. I feel like half the teams, because the transfer portal has become such a popular thing, that like I can't follow every single. I mean, the Action Network has literally a design for this. I'm tracking every single opt out and every single change that's going on in the coaching staffs. But I feel like so many opt outs and transfers are happening that I can't understand how much these guys missing means to the overall team. So then I don't want to really bet on it because I don't really know how much these opt-outs matter, right? Like I wanted Wisconsin last night. Because Spencer Sanders is out, a few key guys on Oklahoma State were out, but then Graham Mertz is out. I don't really know what the difference is. I don't know I can't compute that into numbers. I don't have a college football model, so I can't follow that. So it makes me so difficult. It makes it so difficult when everyone's opting out or everyone's in the transfer portal or this coach goes there and this coach goes here. And it was so confusing.
No, I don't blame you.
Rather than like the college football playoffs or the Power 5 games where you really can. I know TCU. I know Michigan. I don't know Buffalo football or Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
Like I don't know enough about that.
I agree with you. That's the next thing is not only who's out, but how much it actually means that they're out. Like, what do they actually mean to the team? And that's why I recommend to everyone all the time. I'm playing my college football like low unit. Like, you know what I mean? It's pizza money, and I want to be able to just like bet the slate and have fun. Like, so that's what I would say to people. It's like, oh, well, at 10:15 at night, it was Oklahoma State and Wisconsin. Like, yeah, I was on Oklahoma State, and it was because it was a low total, and I felt that, Gundy's good in bowls. Like, I get what you're saying, but people just like got to have fun with it. You're not going to get rich off bowl season unless you're like completely dialed,
Yeah, I guess if you bet on a smaller unit for these games, it makes sense. But I've been betting more like half unit for the games than a full unit, which normally I'm a full unit throughout college football season. It's just hard to like put everything into. I'm not like a genius in the college football realm as I like consider myself smarter.
Neither am I.
Yeah, but it's definitely fun to bet random 11 a.m. games. Like I understand, I do that with like every time there's like a baseball game at 1 o'clock, I want to bet it, or every time there's a college basketball game in the afternoon, I try to bet it. It's pizza money though. It makes sense.
Yep. You go. All right, we're about to wrap here. Just like, we call it one for the road. Just real quick, college football semifinal. Give me something, New Year's plans, whatever you do. Just tell me something about that semifinal. What are you looking for? What are you excited about?
My plans are, I have no idea. I'm going to be watching that TCU Michigan game. I want to see Max Duggan literally have to be scraped off the field. I am rooting for TCU for once. I'm going back on my hatred for Sonny Dykes. I just don't really like Michigan or Harbaugh. So gonna watch the game, hopefully with some friends. Hopefully I can escape the girlfriend since I'm in Florida. I haven't seen her in a while. Hopefully I'm just like, no. It's the college football playoffs. Like I have to. It's work. It's work. So I'm rooting for TCU. And then I'll be watching Bama too at some point, whenever that's on, because I love Bama and I wanted them in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm in a similar boat. The problem is actually the playoff is expected to be good this year. We have low spreads. Yeah. I'm going to roll over Ohio State money line. That's going to be my what I'm going to try and do. I'm trying to take a money line against Georgia and then see if they can roll them over against Michigan. I hate Ohio State, but I think that's like the best way to get at it if you're looking to have some fun. The tough thing is right, the college football playoff games, they haven't been that great. So the problem is my girlfriend has been, kind of trained to think that this is actually a bad night, that, there's blowouts all the time. Can we just do something? And I have built up I'm up 10-0 on New Year's Eve plans because it's been dominated by the football. And now she's like, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Now she's saying, Tim, these games have always stunk. Can we just do something this time? And I'm going, I promise you these ones are supposed to be good. So I'm in a bit of a pretzel here. I'm like, I get it. She's trying to say, look, Tim, you can't keep telling me this over and over again. So I might be watching it from a bar, which goes against everything I stand for. But happy wife, happy life, whatever the lady says. Am I right?
Yeah, no, that's what you have to do. I haven't seen her in like a week, so I'm kind of, I have to give my gift. We have to do our exchange for Christmas gifts. So I have to maybe have it on my phone on the side where it's where I'm hugging her and I'm over the shoulder with my phone like this trying to watch the game. Anytime I could get it, sneak it in. I don't know. I'm gonna be home for New Year's Eve, I think, because in New York City, New Year's stinks, and also I have to work at 8 a.m. on New Year's Day for the NFL.
It's a great excuse. I might pick up a shift.
Yeah, if you want to work with me and be up at 8 a.m., say you got work, let everyone go do their things and sit and watch the football. We can text. Yeah,
leave the amateur hour holiday to everybody else. That's a wrap. Happy New Year, Charlie. Be sure to follow me in the Action app, Kalinowski12. Follow me on Twitter at TimmyCal12. Follow the Action handle as well, Action Network HQ on Twitter. Charlie, plug your Twitter, plug your Action app. Let's get out of here.
Action app and Twitter both at Charlie DiSturco. Keep it quick and simple.
Happy New Year, everyone.